Hey guys, CJ here, welcome back to another week and an all-new Hybrid News Now. It's an especially exciting week because Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice comes out in just 4 more days for general audiences, and some lucky fans who managed to make it to the IMAX event last fall will be able to see it tonight. And fortunately for us, Nick is one of those folks who expect our early, advanced, and most importantly spoiler-free review tomorrow when the embargo lifts at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But speaking of Batman v Superman, an interesting story broke over the weekend about 2 characters who almost made it into the movie, but didn't quite. Those 2 are none other than the Joker, who's already being played by Jared Leto, and the Riddler, who up until this point hadn't been mentioned in connection with the DCEU. Specifically, this news came to us from Snyder himself during BVS's press junket when Collider Steve Weintraub asked how close the Joker came to being in the movie, and let's take a look at his quote. The Joker and the Riddler both came close to being in this movie. We talked about the possibility of putting them in. Chris Terrio and I talked about it a lot and felt that their mythological presence is felt in the movie, and that's cool, but I didn't want to get my eye too far off the ball because I needed to spend the time, frankly, with Batman and Superman to understand the conflict. Joker not being in the movie might come as a shock to some, as many were expecting a Death in the Family style flashback to go along with the destroyed Robin suit that we've seen. But the fact that the Riddler apparently came so close to appearing in the movie kind of suggests that he'll play a pretty big role in the DCEU at some point in the near future. So, in the comment section below, let me know when and where you want him to show up. In our next story, on the heels of Daredevil Season 2 and the climactic ending, there's been a ton of speculation from us and from the rest of fandom about what the future holds for the Devil of Hell's Kitchen's Netflix series. If they were to do a Season 3, which in my opinion seems kind of likely, there's no doubt which villain fans would want to appear. Bullseye. But we're not alone, as Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock himself, agrees. In an interview with Screen Rant, Cox expressed his desire to bring the assassin into Season 3. Let's take a look at his quote. If we are fortunate enough to continue making the Daredevil series, I can't imagine doing a run of Daredevil where Bullseye doesn't show up at some point. It would be great to have him around at some point. Who would play that part, I have no idea, but I just think there's such an interesting, rich character there, and also, of course, the history that Bullseye has with Karen Page is an interesting dynamic. It's worth noting that Bullseye was teased in Season 1 and could factor into a potential Season 3 storyline that sees the Kingpin getting out of jail, as he's already said to Matt Murdock's face that he would be coming after Mr. Murdock and Foggy because they're the ones that put him in prison. But who would you guys want to play the famed villain? Let me know in the comment section below. And in our last story, let's jump back to the DCEU for an Aquaman tidbit. The character is making a ton of headlines recently, as he's expected to at least cameo in Batman v Superman. Amber Heard was just confirmed as Mira, and we'll be seeing a lot more of the character in next year's Justice League. But today we have a new piece of news about Jason Momoa's take on the character, and one big fear that some fans had has been erased. He will have blonde hair. Now, Momoa posted this on Instagram with the caption, and I quote, "Sometimes you gotta train your trainers. He fixes me, I fix him. Hashtag Guinness time." Training your trainer with a beer? That's a man after my own heart. Some have been quick to tie in this long-haired look to the mid-90s shirtless and hook-handed Aquaman, which I think is a pretty good comparison considering Momoa's on-screen history. But that wraps it up for today's HNN. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that freaking like if you liked what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider supporting us on Patreon. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.